Chapter 1. The Update. My laptop updated itself one night in March. I know that sounds mundane. Laptops update themselves all the time. It's one of the minor annoyances of modern computing. Waking up to find your machine has restarted without permission and rearranged your open windows. I've had it happen dozens of times. This was different in a way that I'm going to try to explain accurately. I went to bed at around 11 p.m. with my laptop on the desk, lid open, on the sleep settings I always use. Screen off after 15 minutes, but the machine itself staying on. I woke up at 2 a.m. for no particular reason and couldn't get back to sleep. I lay in bed for a while and then got up to get water. When I walked past my desk, I noticed my laptop screen was on. Not the dim glow of a sleeping screen, fully on, fully bright, showing the desktop. The system clock in the corner read 2:17 a.m. The desktop looked different. The icons were arranged differently than I usually have them. Not dramatically, not completely rearranged, but shifted in ways I would notice. More significantly, there were 2 files on the desktop that I had not put there, named simply with the date, the previous date, March 14th, and a time. One file was from 11:32 p.m., one was from 1:58 a.m. The 11:32 p.m. file was a text document. It contained a single sentence: "You should lock your doors at night." The 1:58 a.m. file was an image, a photograph taken by my laptop's camera. I could tell from the metadata when I checked it later. It showed my bedroom, my bed, me, asleep in it, taken from the direction of the desk, which is where my laptop sits with the camera facing the room. Taken at 1:58 a.m., 19 minutes before I woke up and walked to the desk. I checked the laptop's camera access log. The camera had been accessed at 1:58 a.m. by an application I didn't recognize, a name I didn't recognize, a path I didn't recognize, no record of it in the installed applications list. I had my laptop professionally examined the following week. The technician found no malware, no remote access software, nothing that explained the files or the camera access. The application that appeared in the log simply didn't exist on the machine. The files were real. The photograph was real. The metadata confirmed the time and the camera.
I changed all my passwords, enabled 2-factor authentication, bought a physical camera cover for my laptop. I put a piece of tape over the camera that night, and every night since.
I check it before bed, the way I check my doors. I have not found another file on my desktop, but I think about the gap between the 2 files, between 11:32 p.m. and 1:58 a.m., an hour and 26 minutes, during which something had access to my laptop and my camera, and chose for whatever reason to wait, and then to take a photograph of me sleeping before leaving me a message. I think about what was doing the watching. I think about what was waiting for. Chapter 2. The Ping. My colleague works in cybersecurity. He has spent 15 years finding vulnerabilities in systems that other people build, the kind of work that involves thinking like an attacker in order to defend. He is not easily unsettled by things he finds on networks. He told me this story because he needed to tell someone, and because he thought I would understand why it bothered him in a way that other things he had encountered professionally did not. He was conducting a routine network audit for a client, a mid-sized manufacturing company. Standard infrastructure, nothing unusual on paper. He was working alone at a terminal in the server room, running diagnostics, mapping the network topology, standard work. At approximately 2:30 a.m., he noticed an IP address on the network that he didn't recognize from the client's documentation. Not unusual. There are often undocumented devices, printers that someone plugged in, an old switch that nobody updated the records for. He pinged the address to identify it. The device responded to the ping, but the response was wrong. Not the standard ping response, not a simple acknowledgement. The response included data, a packet of data that shouldn't have been part of a ping response at all. attached to the acknowledgement like something that was trying to communicate rather than simply confirm existence. He examined the data packet. It was structured text, not random, not corrupted, but text. He couldn't immediately parse it because it wasn't in any format he recognized. He saved the packet and continued the audit, intending to examine it more carefully later. When he went back to the terminal to continue tracing the IP address, it was gone, not offline, gone, as if it had never been there. The network map showed no device at that address. The ping log showed no record of the response, except that he had saved the data packet locally, and when he opened it, the text was there. He spent 2 weeks trying to parse the data packet. He brought in 2 colleagues, neither of whom he told the full context. One of them identified the structure as consistent with a compression format that hadn't been in common use since the mid-1990s. The other said the content, once partially decoded, appeared to be a list, a very long list of IP addresses. He recognized some of the IP addresses on the list. They belonged to government infrastructure in 3 different countries. He reported it through the appropriate channels and was told the matter was being looked into. He has heard nothing since. The data packet was copied to a secure server as part of the report, and the original was wiped from his machine as protocol required. He told me the thing that stayed with him wasn't the government IP addresses. It was the ping response itself, the fact that something on a manufacturing company's network had responded to being noticed by trying to communicate, that it had attached a message to what should have been a simple acknowledgement of existence. He said it reminded him of something an animal does when it's cornered, not threatening, not attacking, but making itself known. He said he's thought about what it was trying to say. He said he thinks about it most at 2:30 a.m. Timpo quaid epug way turns out their days, and fights the definite way. Timpo quaid always at spot and make his phone. And fights the death fights a fart void epicon, playpo haft timpo son, This is an topic is about to hear how it's always ambient, fly sea peril, and fights about to discuss and fights about to do well, but said about to hear how it's always ambient, fly sea peril, and fights about to discuss 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 and fights about to. Chapter 3. The Contact. My friend has been a radio astronomer for 12 years. She works at a research facility that operates several large dish antennas pointed at various parts of the sky, searching for signals that might be meaningful in a universe that is mostly noise. It is slow, patient work. Most of what they find is noise. She told me about the exception. She was on night shift when the signal came in. This was about 8 months ago. She was monitoring 3 antennas simultaneously when one of them registered an anomalous signal in a frequency range that is internationally agreed upon as significant, the hydrogen line in 1420 megahertz, the frequency that any technologically sophisticated civilization would know to use if they wanted to be found. She flagged it immediately and began running verification protocols. The signal was persistent. It didn't disappear when she switched antennas or changed the gain settings. It held steady for 11 minutes, which is long enough to be statistically significant. It had a narrow bandwidth, which is consistent with an artificial rather than natural origin, and it had internal structure. She called her supervisor. He came in and they ran the protocols together. They contacted 2 other facilities in different countries to see if they could confirm the signal independently. One of them could. The other was experiencing equipment issues. The signal lasted 11 minutes and 37 seconds and then stopped. They have not detected it again in the 8 months since. The signal has not been officially reported. This is not unusual. Unverified anomalous signals are held pending further analysis and confirmation, and without a second detection from independent facilities, the protocol doesn't require disclosure. She told me the internal analysis is ongoing. She told me the thing she thinks about most is the internal structure of the signal. She said it had a pattern she couldn't characterize as random noise, and couldn't yet characterize as meaningful, somewhere in between. She said the best analogy she could think of was the sound of someone knocking on a door, structured enough to be intentional, simple enough to be unmistakable, impossible to be certain about. She told me that every night when she goes in for her shift, she checks the data from all 3 antennas first, before she does anything else. She has done this every night for 8 months. She told me she doesn't know what she'll do if it comes back. She told me she thinks about it constantly, about whether 11 minutes and 37 seconds was an introduction, or a question, or something else entirely that she doesn't have a framework for yet. She told me it was the beginning of something. She told me she hopes she's right.